Good afternoon, everyone. Today, we shall try and understand how to optimize neonatal care during the current COVID-19 pandemic. The objectives of this presentation are: we shall start with understanding the do's and don'ts of neonatal resuscitation. How do we actually manage stable and sick neonates? We'll also understand the management of outborn neonates and those neonates who require readmission after initial discharge. We shall try and learn when is testing recommended and when does one discontinue isolation for a neonate in a healthcare setting or at home. We shall also try and understand when to discharge a neonate, and finally, after discharge, what are the precautions which have to be learned by the caregivers and have to be practiced at home. Starting with neonatal resuscitation, the resuscitation corner for these neonates has to be ideally a separate isolated room, negative pressure. In addition, a designated member of the neonatal team should be assigned this task. If there is anticipated advanced resuscitation, then appropriate number of skilled neonatal team members who are wearing proper personal protective equipment should be attending the delivery. Skin-to-skin contact routinely is avoided. However, drying and standard thermoregulatory measures for preterm babies are the same as we do for other neonates that we care for. A wet towel must be considered contaminated and should be removed with care. In addition, a high-efficiency particulate air filter might be considered between a T-piece or a self-inflating bag and mask. Aerosol-generating procedures such as suction should ideally be minimized as much. Firstly, bedding in and doing direct breastfeeding. The second option is rooming in, that is, the baby and the mother dyad are in the same room, but they are about 6 feet apart. The breastfeeding is allowed while the mother performs hand hygiene as well as wears a mask during breastfeeding. The third option is mother and baby are roomed in, but breastfeeding is not allowed. And the fourth is you isolate the neonate and the mother. The World Health Organization recommends that breastfeeding be continued and the baby and the mother can actually be roomed in together. For neonates who are sick and require NICU admission, they should be transported in a closed incubator to the isolation facility. One should adhere to the locally recommended personal protective equipment guidelines before entering the isolation room. The most experienced member of the team or a skilled senior resident should be intubating the neonate. Once intubated, inline suction is practiced for these neonates who are ventilated for suctioning their endotracheal tubes. The other principles for respiratory support are the basic principles of lung protective strategies, including the use of non-invasive ventilation. All neonates who require respiratory support should be nursed in an incubator. If the neonate is able to accept enteral feeds, the ideal is expressed breast milk. Remember that all the equipment which is coming out of this isolation room, which is taking care of this neonate, should be cleaned as per the unit policy. A register must be kept for recording the details of all healthcare providers and others who are entering this isolation facility. Having understood the care of a sick neonate, let us now move on to how do we care for outborn neonates or neonates who are inborn but require readmission after initial discharge. A neonate would generally present with flu-like symptoms, some running nose, lethargy, poor feeding. So overall, to understand these clinical features are non-specific. The management guidelines and principles are same as that of management of any sick neonate. It has to be an isolated facility wherein the neonate is admitted and is. Going on further, if the neonate has symptoms and When I say symptoms, it means flu-like symptoms, lethargy, poor feeding, poor suck. Look for and ask history of contact with a confirmed case or international travel in the last 14 days by the mother. Test the neonate for COVID-19 because the neonate is already symptomatic, and thereafter advise for home isolation. If the test is negative, the isolation can be discontinued. However, if the test is positive, home isolation should be continued till the neonate qualifies for discontinuation. This is only if the neonate can be discharged from the neonatal unit. While in home isolation, the neonate has to be monitored for any worsening of symptoms. If a neonate requires admission after initial discharge, test if there is a history of contact with a confirmed case or an international travel, or a neonate is presenting with severe acute respiratory illness. These neonates should manage with all precautions until the testing is confirmed to be negative. So when I say care of these outborn neonates or care of neonates after admission, let us understand when we should be doing the testing of these neonates. Testing at 24 to 48 hours after birth is optional. It has to be done day 5 to day 7. If the neonate remains admitted in the hospital for any reason, because the mother is admitted or for any other reason, irrespective of the sickness status, the sample has to be sent on day 5 to day 7. This is because the median incubation period is about 4 days, with the interquartile range ranging from 2 to 7 days. So, assuming that the time of exposure is actually the time of delivery where the neonate came in contact with maternal secretions, and assuming that vertical transmission risk is almost negligible, the ideal time actually comes to about day 5 to day 7. If the symptoms are not compatible with the typical clinical course of a respiratory illness, for example, transient tachypnea of newborn, respiratory distress syndrome, meconium aspiration syndrome, one should test for COVID-19. If the neonate develops any symptoms which are compatible with COVID-19, as I initially detailed, refusal to feed, poor feeding, vomiting, lethargy, and these develop within 14 days during hospital stay or during the time that the neonate is home isolated, such neonates need to be tested. So after testing, when you are awaiting the test results, the neonate should ideally be isolated and cohorted in the same isolation room in separate incubators. If there is more than one neonate, then these neonates should be at least 6 feet away from each other. If a neonate comes out to be COVID-19 positive, then the ideal schedule is that one has to retest every 2 to 4 days as per the hospital policy. For us, we do it every 4 days until 2 tests are negative. If the initial test is negative and the neonate actually continues to be admitted for any other reason, maybe maternal indication, the neonate should be ongoingly monitored for new symptoms or signs which are compatible with COVID-19. This monitoring has to be done irrespective of the neonate being outside the hospital or inside the hospital till 14 days of the last exposure. The parents can be told to look for these new symptoms and signs while the baby is in home isolation after discharge. When do we discontinue isolation? Neonates with suspected infection, the test comes out to be negative and this was performed beyond day 4. As I initially said, between day 5 and day 7, you move them out of the isolation. However, if the testing was not possible or the testing was negative prior to 96 hours of life and today, the baby actually, the hospital stay was about 4 days or less, the neonate can be discharged, but then home isolation is imperative for 14 days from the last contact. For hospital stay more than 4 days, if the neonate is still inside the hospital, testing is the best option. Do it between 5 and 7 days and depending upon the test result, a decision can be taken for the further need of isolation. Continuing further, if a neonate comes positive for COVID-19, you test every 2 to 4 days and isolation can be discontinued once all the following criteria are met. So neonate is afebrile, and for this afebrile period, he does not require the use of any antipyretic agents. There is improvement in the respiratory symptoms and at least 2 consecutive respiratory samples are negative for RT-PCR and they were collected more than 24 hours apart. An asymptomatic neonate with confirmed COVID-19, time-based strategy suggests that if 10 days have passed since the day of first positive test, assuming that the neonate did not develop subsequent signs and symptoms after the first positive test, then isolation can be discontinued. In the second option, which is a test-based strategy, at least 2 consecutive respiratory specimens negative for RT-PCR are collected more than 24 hours apart. For a neonate who was symptomatic to start with, best would be that the neonate is afebrile for 72 hours. There are improvement in respiratory symptoms and at least 10 days have passed since the symptoms first appeared. The second option is that neonate remains afebrile, there is improvement in respiratory symptoms and 2 consecutive respiratory samples are negative for RT-PCR and they are collected more than 24 hours apart. Then you discontinue isolation for this neonate. Discharge the neonate as early as possible and safe, preferably with a healthy attendant. If a healthy attendant is not available, then mother is the next attendant feasible and possible. Discharge with the mother at the same time if a rooming in option was already used. A well neonate, if discharged 24 to 48 hours after birth, we follow it up with home isolation for 14 days since the time of last contact. If the mother was discharged before being declared infection-free, consider her infective until she has been afebrile for 72 hours without the use of antipyretics and there is improvement in respiratory symptoms and at least 10 days have passed since the symptoms first appeared. Once discharged, what are the measures which have to be taken at home? Routine infection preventive measures, which include that the mother wears a medical mask and practices hand hygiene before and after contact with the baby. One can follow up telephonically or home visit can be done by a designated nurse. During this period, if the neonate becomes unwell, there are some danger signs. The baby has to be taken to a designated hospital facility for assessment and testing. If the baby requires admission, the same criteria apply for discharge. Once afebrile for 72 hours, symptoms have resolved or improved and the baby does not require medical or surgical care and is otherwise stable. So discharge depends on one option when 2 consecutive samples are negative and the second option is when the clinical criteria is met and the mother agrees for home isolation for the subsequent 14 days after the contact. So we learned what to do and what not to do during neonatal resuscitation. We also learned the management of stable and sick neonates, and while managing sick neonates, the basic principles as applied to all sick neonates also apply to management of neonates with COVID-19 infection. We learned the management of outborn neonates and those neonates who require readmission. We also learned that it is optional to test at 24 hours. Ideally, a sample has to be sent at 5 to 7 days. We understood the discharge criteria for an admitted neonate who is either suspected to be positive or is actually positive with COVID-19. We understood the precautions which have to be observed at home by all mother-newborn dietes or by healthcare attendants who are taking care of mother-newborn dietes. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I am Dr. Jyoti and I welcome you all to this discussion session. And for today's discussion, we have with us Dr. Annu Sachdeva. She is Associate Professor from Department of Pediatrics, AIIMS. We have with us Professor Deepak Chawla from Government Medical College, Chandigarh, and Dr. Jiva Sarkar, Associate Professor from Department of Pediatrics, All India Medical Institute. We welcome you all.
उनका वीडियो दिखा दीजिए.
First to start with, Dr. Annu, I would like to ask you a question. How should the baby be evaluated after birth if the mother is COVID positive?
So, thank you, Dr. Jyoti. So, if the mother is COVID positive, we take all due precautions while attending the delivery. And if, as far as evaluation, I also covered in my slides. So, these babies are tested generally between 5 to 7 days after birth. We are watchful for symptoms. If they are stable, they can be roomed in with the mother. We continue direct breastfeeding while the mother observes all the precautions, and we keep on monitoring these babies for symptoms.
Okay, thank you. So, Dr. Anu, what are the symptoms in the baby if we want to diagnose that the baby is having COVID infection?
So, I initially also said in my slides that these symptoms are very non-specific. You cannot really label after seeing the baby that this baby has COVID-19 positivity. So, these are very non-specific: irritability, poor feeding, slight drowsiness, decreased responsiveness, and some running nose. Very non-specific symptoms are there when the baby is born to a COVID-19 positive mother.
Okay. Dr. Deepak, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Good afternoon.
Switch on your camera.
Sir, please, can you switch on your camera? Yes, sir.
Yes.
Good afternoon, sir. I want to ask you
Good
a question. Should a mother and baby be separated if the mother is COVID positive?
What we see from literature is that if due precautions are number one, BSA mask when baby is roomed in with mother, and second, she does frequent hand washing, especially before and after breastfeeding, and third, she keeps the surface clean, does frequent disinfection. The chances of getting baby infected are very remote. And secondly, establishment of breastfeeding, initiation of breastfeeding is better if baby is roomed in with mother rather than expressing milk and then sending to the baby. And thirdly, advantages of breastfeeding far outweigh the risk, if any, of baby getting infected. Although the chances of infection are very remote if all precautions are taken, even if baby gets infected, the infection is usually very mild and baby will come out of it unscathed. So taking care of all these points, we recommend that if baby is healthy and mother is healthy, both can be roomed in together.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. So, sir, if a mother is unable to feed the baby, maybe...
Can't hear you. Yeah.
Hello? Sir, can you hear me?
Yes.
Sir, if the mother,
Yes,
mother is unable to breastfeed the baby, maybe the mother is sick. So, what other options are available to feed the baby?
So if mother is sick will usually mean she has pneumonia or she needs ICU care. In that case, if she has mild symptoms, baby can stay with her. But if she has pneumonia, needing oxygen, or she is admitted in ICU, then of course baby has to be separated from mother. In that case, we have two options. One option is if we have an unexposed healthy care provider who can take care of the baby. Baby can be kept with that care provider. Once baby has crossed 24 to 48 hours, baby can be discharged.